Hey guys, how you doing? This is Benjamin with Benjamin Exotics, and in this video today, we're going to be looking at and making this right here. The new, innovative, and in my opinion, groundbreaking Reptile heating pad to heat your guys' Reptile racks. Now, I have mainly ball pythons, and this has worked very good for me over the last month or so. And I've had no problems with it, and it's a step up from the conventional way of heating your rack, just using this heat tape. Now, before we go into how to actually build this, I am going to quickly discuss why I built this. And this is kind of my own little invention. Call it what you want, but I've seen nobody, absolutely zero people, do something like this on YouTube. You can Google it, type in the search bar, hopefully nobody copies me. But I've looked on YouTube, I've probably spent an hour over the last few days, and I cannot find one person that's done this before. So I'm going to call it my own little new groundbreaking invention. So the conventional way to heat, as you know, DIY racks, or even normal professional racks, is to take your heat tape, put it straight on the melamine or PVC, and then your tubs just slide straight in. Okay? Seems okay, right? You just tape it down, tub's right there, seems fine. But here's the problem nobody talks about. Actually, you know what? Not nobody. I have heard a few people like Olympus Reptiles and stuff talk about this, but when you have your tub on this, and you're sliding it back and forth with this exposed, over time you're going to cause wear. Now, it might not be in the first 20 times that this thing goes back and forth, or the first 60 times, or even 200 times of this thing going back and forth and back and forth. But eventually, over the months and over the years, you know, there's no really way to prevent this until now. This is going to be, you know, worn, and it's going to cause wear with this tub going back and forth. And the problem with that is that when this gets damaged, you start to have heat spikes, where it can be 90 degrees over here, 140 degrees right here, and 90 degrees again right here, because this section will be damaged, and these sections are running smoothly. And the problem with that is that, number one, let's say your probe is right here on the 140 degrees side, or what would be 140 degrees, it'll kick this back down to 90, but these two sides will be at like 70, so your snakes will be either too cold, or even worse, you put it over here on the 90-ish side, and this is reading 90, but then right here, and maybe over here, it's reading 140 because it's damaged. And we don't want to have our snakes be cooked. So personally, I don't like this way of heating, where you just take your straight melamine or PVC, slap it down, tape it, put your tub over there, and it's good. Now, I'm not really trying to slam this way. I know many people that have had it work tremendously and work fine. But in my opinion, I'm not going to be lazy and take the chance for having my snakes get burnt. Again, it's all personal preference. Many people, even the big professional people like Reptile Electronics and stuff, do their racks like this, and it has worked great for many people. But there's also been people that have had problems, and I would much rather spend an extra $1 or so per each foot of heat tape that I have, and have it be much safer and basically, I'm not going to say 100% it's never going to have any problems, but going to have way less problems with wear than this, than to just go the lazy route and do it like this. Again, if you have your rack heated like this, I'm not calling you lazy, and this can work. In my opinion, there's nothing wrong with heating it like this if you're taking your tub and lifting it up and then putting it back down. But in my opinion, when you have it rubbing back and forth, you can just have some really bad problems, and I would never want to have my snakes be basically cooked because of a mistake I made. So this is all personal preference, and this is the design right here. And the main thing about this is that when we turn this over, despite other benefits it gives you, where, when we have the metal, it's actually from what I've seen, it's a much more consistent temperature all around. Because as you can see with the normal heat tape, you have your black, which will actually be warm, and then the other white won't have barely any temperature going through it at all. So it's kind of inconsistent the whole way down. I mean, it's okay and it works, but when you do have this, aluminum flashing is what this is, or some sort of metal over it, it just gives it a nice flow and a nice evenness throughout the entire thing. And this is actually kind of done by Freedom Breeders. Freedom Breeders does it a little bit differently, though, and they use much thicker metal than this, and it's on their racks the way they do it. And I kind of took the design from this, but I've never seen somebody do this on a traditional rack, not like one of the big metal Freedom Breeder racks. So let's go ahead and flip this guy over. And it's very simple. You have your connections from Reptile Basics on both sides with your traditional heat mat like you would on a rack. And all I've done is taken some silicone, gone on the white edges of this. Hopefully the glare isn't shining into the camera too bad from this, because this is very shiny. But I've just taken some silicone, gone on both sides, and connected this down so it's flat. And then I can turn this over. This goes on my racks. It's nice, it's clean. And when the tub, let's grab our tub again. When the tub's sitting on this and going back and forth, it's not going to cause damage to the actual heating element. It might scratch some of this metal up, but the heating element is going to be, for the most part, safe. So that's kind of my thinking behind this, and this is the reason I did this. And I'll quickly just give you guys a few tips if you're building this. It's straightforward, very easy to build, and that's one of the reasons I like this so much. All I do is I leave 1 inch on both sides, so when I tape it, I have a nice even place to tape it, so I'm not actually taping or putting any, I guess, besides the silicone, there's no sealants, or, you know what I mean. The tape is not going to be touching this heat element at all. It's touching the sides of this for a nice, even, and smooth finished look. So that's the reason that I've left about 1 inch on both sides, you know, that isn't being taken by this. So then all you have to do, and these are the basic tools you need. All you need is some sort of silicone. You get these shears from Walmart that are made to cut little, you know, metal like this. These are $4. Some sort of Sharpie, your some sort of, you know, ruler or measurer that can measure things, and then your connections, and then of course your heat tape, and then of course you always could have a good, let's pull it out of my pocket, a good quality knife or razor blade to cut your heat tape down to the correct size that you need. And that's kind of just with setting this normally up. But then all you have to do is sit down at your table. And by the way, I should have said, this is called, I think I already did, this is called aluminum flashing, and it comes in like 10-foot sheets for like $10. So you guys might be thinking, oh, it's metal, it's got to be expensive. No, this is very, 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 very cheap. It's almost, it's just like, I want to say it's kind of like tin foil, but it's way stronger. When you feel it, you'll feel it's pretty resistant stuff. Pretty hard to actually bend, but very easy to cut. Comes in 10-foot strips like that for $10, so very cheap. And this is kind of my straight edge that I took off of it. So let's flip this guy over, and this will kind of be our demo. So all I'm going to do is come in here, have 1 inch on this side, take our Sharpie or marker, just like this, put a mark right there. Then I'm going to take the, as you can see the mark right there, take whatever sized heat thing I'm using. I'm going to set it up right about here, make sure it's pretty straight on the whole thing, line it up. Then I'm going to put another mark right there. Okay, I'm going to take this guy off. We have both of our marks on both sides. Flip this guy over. Just like that. Then I'm going to take another inch, hook it up right about there, push it back a little bit more, and then go right about there where our inch needs to be. And then all you have to do once you've done that on your metal is get something straight. You can even use the heat tape if you want. Take this all the way down, take this all the way down, take this all the way down, cut this way, and then cut this way if you need to on the top. Then you have a nice even trace out where you have your two things on the side, and then of course between these two dots is where you're going to lay your heat tape. Heat tape goes down, you take your silicone, there's a few different kinds you can get, but like I said, just get one that's safe for like fish and stuff, and you should be fine. And all we're going to do is take this silicone and go just like this along the entire edge of the entire thing, just like that. We don't want to go too much over this black stuff. You can even put it on the actual tape itself and then just stick it down, and if you do it that way, that's the way I did it, it's the easiest. Go on this white right here. We don't want to go too much on the copper, and especially not on this black, because then you're going to be interfering with the actual heating of the entire thing and making some parts of it inconsistent. So you put it all like that, stick it on your thing once you've got it cut to size like I said, let it sit for 24 hours, and then you're done. And, you know, come back 24 hours later, and this is what you've got. Very effective, very safe, and it's amazing to heat your racks with. I've been doing it for a very long time. Well, actually, not a very long time. I'm doing it for about a month right now. I've had no problems with it, and I am going to be building a new rack soon for sub-adults, ball pythons. I'll show you guys that video. and this is the way I'm going to heat it. So this is a pretty long video, but hopefully you guys did benefit from this new kind of innovative and groundbreaking way of building these. I think this is going to help out the reptile community a lot, and hopefully you guys did enjoy this video and benefit from it. If you liked the video, please give it a like, and of course if you like the channel, subscribe. Hope you guys did enjoy this video. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.